Hey Mike, do you have any other local reportings that have happened lately?
Yeah, I have another interesting report, and this, as a matter of fact, comes from an area where we've received a number of reports this summer. Um, this took place on September 19th. These people had recently moved to Aptos. Aptos is it's about a 20-minute drive from here, and it's down on the it's up from the coast, but it's at the base of Nisene Marks Park, which is a large forest area where we've had a number of reports in the past. And so this was a couple. They came in together because they were so excited. They were kind of bumping into each other verbally, trying to be the one to talk because of their excitement about what they'd experienced. And they had bought some property in Aptos that butts up against this park, Nisene Marks. And on this particular Saturday, they had they had heard some interesting sounds. But the first thing that happened was they found a nest. It looked like something had been sleeping under a tree. There was a tree root sticking out, and then there was this tall grass, and it was all flattened out. And obviously something had slept in this grass under this tree, and it made a nice little shelter. And the woman was out walking her dog, and she saw a figure in the distance, kind of walking away from her, and it was more of a silhouette. She couldn't see any details, but it was upright on two legs. It looked like a person, and it seemed to have kind of a hump on its back, which she interpreted as a backpack, and figured, oh, it's probably a homeless person with a knapsack. And then she decided, oh, that might be what's been sleeping in this area back here. So she contacted the neighbors and suggested they might want to cut their grass back there, because apparently there's a hobo been sleeping in their backyard, and or some kind of a homeless person. So this happened during the day, and then later that night, starting at about 11:45. And continuing until about 1:30 a.m., they heard screams coming from the park, loud, drawn-out screams. And there would be one call, and then a bit of a pause, and then another, and this went on for quite some time. And what she said was very interesting was that the dog was barking at the woods. Just kind of looking into the woods and barking before the screams started happening. And so they brought the dog in, and but when the screams started, the dog, and she had two of them actually, both of them were sitting there with their ears up, listening to these screams, but they were also quiet, very quiet. And previously, when they had been outside, they had been barking, but now they were quiet. And she said that she had a different attitude about the whole thing when she came in, because she had initially thought that they were looking at a hobo, but she said based on the way the dogs acted and so forth, she wasn't so sure. And she said what was really interesting was that this hobo had kind of a real easygoing gait, but it seemed to be covering a lot of ground quickly in spite of its easy gait. And her husband said that on the following Sunday, he had heard a little bit of a short call that was similar to that during the day. Well, these folks eventually decided to sell their property, and so at the beginning of last month, they moved back to Los Angeles, where they had come from. And then just a few days ago, I got a call, and they're living in Malibu now. And she just called to tell me how interested she was in our research here because of her experience. And they also came to our Bigfoot Discovery Day 3, which took place in October. They came to the event and heard the speakers, and she's totally gung-ho now, having had a Bigfoot, she believes, in her backyard, and having learned about it through our museum. and she just called to give verbal support and say she wants to help out in any way she can in the future. And well, we need help, so it's nice to have people acknowledging that we seem to be doing something here and actually coming up with some interesting evidence.